Are you learning HTML as a beginner? I want to know what HTML lists are, how they work and how to create them. If so, you're in the right place. Hi, Martin here from MDP Web Development. Today we'll be working on a project that we'll use as a reference project throughout the Web Development for Beginners playlist. Don't forget to check out the playlist from the start to get a better understanding of HTML and our reference project. It's updated each week with new videos. Be sure to stick around to the end to see how to get the project files on GitHub to use throughout this playlist. I'll link to important videos there also. There's a link in the description down below to the GitHub repository where all the source code is. Let's get started.
Before we go on, be sure to watch the Visual Studio Code Editor video. It explains how to get and set up VS Code for use in the Web Development for Beginners playlist. And also watch the video on creating your first web page. I'll link to them in the description below. Here's a summary to get you started. First, create a folder on your desktop and call it Reference Project. Next, download and install Visual Studio Code Editor for your operating system from the link in the description. Open VS Code, then open this folder and create a new file called index.html. In the file content, type an exclamation mark and hit enter. This should create a new standard document for you. Open the file from the desktop folder and it should be a blank page as we have not put any content in it yet. If you get stuck, just watch these videos first.
HTML lists can be ordered. In other words, they go 1, 2, 3, 4 for the list items, or unordered, where they just have a bullet point for each list item. Here we can see an example of a HTML ordered list, or OL. We can see the OL tag and closing tag. And then we can see each list item here. You can see the list item tag, the content, then the closing list item tag. And on the bottom, we can see what it would look like in a browser. We can see they're all ordered 1, 2, 3, 4. HTML unordered lists just means they're in no particular order. They don't have numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. We can see on the top we have the unordered list, UL tag, and the closing tag. And then we can see each list item tag and the content inside. And on the bottom, this is how it would look on a browser. We can see the two tags, and we can also see the bullet point instead of the numbers for an unordered list. We can see here in our reference project the list we're going to be creating. In the HTML reference section, we can see an ordered list where the items go 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the CSS and JavaScript reference section, we can see they're unordered, where they just have bullet points. Let's go ahead and create these now. Hi, before we move on, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thank you.
So now we're going to open Visual Studio Code and our project and a browser window on the right to preview our project. It's going to go to our desktop and double click on Visual Studio Code. Then we're going to go to the Explorer view and open folder. And mine is on the desktop, so I'm going to go Desktop, Reference Project, select Folder. And here we can see we have our HTML file. If we open the browser view, we can see the reference project folder and the index.html file we created. Now to see the browser window on the right, if you have the live server extension installed, you'll see Go Live button down here on the bottom. And if you haven't, you just have to go out to your desktop, open the folder, and click on the index.html file. So once you've clicked on that file, we're just going to click this Go Live button here. And that'll start up a new browser server window for us. So a handy shortcut for Windows to put something on the left and right is to press the Windows key and then right or left arrow and release the Windows key. Then select the one you want on the left or right. So I'll close this panel. So another handy shortcut for Windows is the zoom key. If you press CTRL, then the plus to zoom in and negative to zoom out. So we can see here we have our Windows browser on the right. So the only difference if we had to open this manually on the desktop and click on the file is if we make changes on the left in our code editor, you would have to click refresh on the right to see it.
So here we are in our reference project. We can see on the left we have vscode, and on the right we have our server to see our changes. So now we're going to put in lists into our reference project. The first list we'll create is an ordered list, OL. The list items just go in order 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put it here under the HTML reference section. So if you click the end key on Windows, go to the end of the line, then enter. I'll just zoom in. Now for an ordered list, OL, we're going to create the tag first. So we're going to go less than symbol, OL for ordered list, and greater than symbol. And you can see VS Code autocompleted. So then we just hit enter to allow us to put in the list items. So this tag for list item is less than symbol, li for list item, then greater than symbol. And now we can put in our first reference. So these references are going to be list items for now, then we'll convert them to links later on. So the first list item is the MDN, Microsoft Developer Network, HTML reference. And we can see on the right in our server, we have the changes. We have the list item, the first list item. So if your server doesn't update on the right, just click refresh up on the top left corner of your browser. So now let's go ahead and put in the next list item. So we're going to hit end to go to the end of the line, then enter to go down next. So again, the list item tag less than symbol, li for list item, and greater than symbol. And this one is going to be called W3C, section and content reference. W3C is a governing body of the internet. Lots of useful information. And we can see under there, on the right hand side in our browser window, we now have two list items, and they're numbered 1 to 2. So the next list item link we're going to put in is the MDN HTML element reference. MDN is for Microsoft Developer Network, and it's a very handy reference from them. So we're going to go less than symbol, list item, greater than symbol. And we can see on the right we now have 3 list items in our menu. So now the final one for this section on the HTML is going to be the W3C HTML validator. So again, less than symbol, list item, greater than symbol. And we can see on the right hand side we now have list items 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that was an ordered list. They're ordered 1, 2, 3, 4. Next we're going to put in an unordered list with no particular order, which uses bullet points, into our CSS reference section. So we go down below the CSS paragraph. So unordered list is UL. So we'll do the tag less than symbol, UL for unordered list, and greater than symbol. So the first reference we're going to put in is the MDN CSS reference. So we're going to create a list item, li, then the MDN CSS reference. And we can see on the right hand side here, we have our first list item with just a bullet point. So for the next list item, we're going to put in, it's going to be the W3C CSS validator, a very handy tool for validating our CSS code. So we're going to create a list item tag, less than symbol, li for list item, greater than symbol, and W3C CSS validator. And again, if your browser doesn't refresh on the right hand side, just click refresh up on the top. Now for the final one, we're just going to put in one list item in a list, an unordered list, in our JavaScript section underneath our paragraph. So unordered list, again, UL. So we go less than symbol, UL for unordered list, and greater than symbol. And then we create a list item, less than symbol, li for list item, greater than symbol. So this reference for JavaScript is going to be called the MDN JavaScript reference. And we should see that on the right hand side. There we go. So there we have it. I'll just zoom out here. Again, on Windows, it's CTRL and negative to zoom out and plus to zoom in. So we can see here in the HTML reference section, we have an ordered list, 1, 2, 3, 4, with 4 items. In the CSS reference section, we have an unordered list with just 2 items. And in the JavaScript reference section, we have just 1 item in the list.
So to get the files used in this example, the HTML reference project, just go to the GitHub link that's down in the description of this video. You can have a look at it here. So a GitHub repository is just a location on the internet hosted by a company called Git that most developers like to share or store their code in, either for their own use or to share with other developers. The repository on GitHub is just a folder used to store code or files, etc. Let's have a look at each folder. So when we're in the repository here, you can see the name of the repository there, actions along the top. You can see the main folder here, and there's a README file too. So if you want, you can just click onto the folders and see what's inside them and download the code from there. But to get all the code, you're going to go over here to the code button. We're going to click and download zip file. Once that's downloaded, go into your downloads folder. Then we need to extract it. So you're going to Windows, you're going to right click and extract all. Now let's just have a look at these files in vscode. So we're going to go to our desktop. We're going to open up Visual Studio Code. And now we're going to open the folder that we just extracted. Open folder on the left. And we're going to go to Downloads. And here we are. And you can see here on the Explorer view on the left, there's the folder we can click to expand. And here's the reference project folder. And here's the HTML file, so we click on that, and there's the code. You can use this for reference or to rebuild your project if something goes wrong.
Hi, I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please like, share, comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos in the Web Development for Beginners playlist. See you next time.